I was having no luck with using springs, and instead what I did was I bought some eyelets and I bought some elastics, brace elastics, like for dental braces. And I thought maybe this would be a good alternative. The only issue is that the eyelets are really tiny, and I cut 0.5 millimeter holes into the MDF so that I could at least get the eyelet in. I didn't plan ahead very well for mounting this stuff, and honestly, like, I think the next time I do this, I'll probably open up the eyelets a little bit so that when I put the elastics in, it's quicker. And then it will allow me to close it. While this clip is sped up, I just want to thank my patrons. You are all the best, and if you want to support me, head on over to patreon.com/Hugh Q. Elliott, 2 L's and 2 T's in that name. Obviously, it's on the screen here, so I appreciate everyone, and I would love your support. So, I got this set up, but, the eyelets go through the MDF, and that's okay too. I'm going to glue all this down, I think, to secure it, but then I got my elastics. I don't know why I felt it was important to keep putting the centerpiece in. It doesn't really make any difference. But, so you can see the eyelets poke through. I want to line them up. I tried for a second, like, oh, maybe I'll open it up, but because MDF is not very strong, it makes more sense to open these eyelets up before installing them. And I only want to open them up just enough for the elastic to fit and not enough for it to fall back out. So you'll see in a little bit that I turn around and I glue them. So I didn't have braces when I was a kid, so I never had any experience using these things. I don't know why I thought I needed the hook, but the nice thing is the elastics are relatively strong. They're meant for dental applications, so they're meant to be pretty strong. And I figured, well, I'll just loop them over the eyelets because the eyelets are round, so maybe that'll help. Yeah. But I am impressed with how they do provide a consistent distance for this. And you'll see it's pretty funny. I go tap, 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 and actually one of the eyelets, or one of the elastics pops off, and I have to put a new one on. But this is when I decide, okay, well, I think if I were to do this again, I would probably pry open the eyelets to get the elastics in. And instead, I'm just going to use a hot glue gun. And yeah, I'm just going to glue the bottom side, which has the pointy threaded part of the eyelet that's sticking out the other side of the MDF. Just so it doesn't scratch up anything. I'm not really that worried about it, but And also, because MDF isn't super strong, I wanted to provide just a little bit extra. When I do this for real, I think I'll probably be using plywood, and even 3 mil plywood is stronger than MDF. Also, MDF is really prone to moisture, so MDF is totally fine as a material to do tests, but I would not trust it for any kind of project because it's you know, or a production project, sorry, anything that goes into production, because of the fact that if it gets wet in any way, it'll swell and everything will break. So here I'm just placing a little blob of glue on either side, just to secure the elastic so that when it bounces, it doesn't want to slip off. And it doesn't really matter. It's not going to be seen. In the long run, the diameter of the target will be smaller than the diameter of this suspended circle. So it won't really matter. And then I just grab some Kapton tape, a nut and bolt, and I secure the breakout board, the breakout board and the knock sensor so that I can test it. And this is what I'm doing, is just adding in some washers, and I've decided, well, I'll mount the board off the target. The initial design I had done had the board on the target, but there would be a difference between 3 wires going up on something that would be vibrating quite a bit, potentially, or the 2 wires with screw terminals leading off of it, and the actual vibration is not enough to knock anything loose. So I figured this is probably the best solution, is to actually lock down the breakout off of the vibration panel, or whatever you would call it, and then just mount the knock sensor on the panel itself. Just tape it down. Kapton tape will do just fine. We just need to make sure that it's a good tight attachment, because you want the vibration from the impact actually affecting the knock sensor. So that's what I'm doing, just a little bit of tape. Again, I'll probably have to come up with something that is not tape for the production version of this, but for a test, this will do just fine. I look like I'm being very deliberate, but I misplaced my knife, which would have made this quicker. Oh well. And by that point, my coffee's cold, so that's not my favorite part, but you know, whatever. Yeah, I decided to just tape down the wire. I don't want it moving around. Like, the more wires vibrate on a soldered joint, like the more likely it is that that soldered joint could snap, and I don't want that to happen. But there we go.